Howdy, howdy. Happy Monday. It's your Monday market report.
Oh my gosh, you should play that noise.
Do you remember that?
I do. What is that, like the 40s?
Or was it the 40s? It was like, I felt like it was like one of the, not a cartoon, but maybe the Muppets or something like that.
No, I think it was like in the 40s, like movies.
Oh, okay.
Like that was like extra or newsflash kind of thing.
Yeah. I
Let's
like
just
that.
wait like 15 seconds because
Yes.
we're still not showing up as live.
We'll give it just a few seconds.
So how is it Monday already is what I want to know.
I was really pissed about that. Like, I had a really good weekend. I did not want it to end.
You're not supposed to be pissed about Mondays.
Who likes Mondays?
They're fresh starts. It's a chance to like try to fix everything you maybe didn't get right last week. Like, I don't know. I don't mind Mondays.
Okay. I could see that. Okay.
It's like a new beginning every I don't know. But I'm weird, so here we are.
Well, how is your fresh start? Like, what did you just knock it out of the park last week and you're like, hey, I'm ready to get after it this week again?
I had a really good week last week, honestly. Just personally, professionally, like we came back from our little mini vacation and kind of hit the ground running, and I feel like last week was pretty good. So yeah, I'm excited, like coming off of that, and then I'm excited to make this week even better. Because if that was a really good week, then this week should be great.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to cover today? We are talking about the Denver real estate market. And is there any good news in the market? Well, I guess if you're a buyer, it's probably good, right?
Well, I say this all the time on our lives, but there's no good news, there's no bad news, there's just news. And then it depends on how you react to that news in your mind, whether that's good or bad for you. I think especially in real estate, there really is no good or bad. We don't deliver good or bad. It's just facts and news. And some of our clients love it, and some of our clients do not. But that's just the job.
Got it. I like that approach.
Yeah.
That helps my psyche. So.
And your psyche needs help.
I don't even know why you're married to me. So
I do, but that's for another episode.
Right. Well, let me give you a little snapshot here. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about something here. Let's go to home here. So, well, no, I don't want that. We're going to go to Market Watch here. Can you see Market Watch?
Yep.
Okay. So in the last 7 days, we've had 1,900 new listings come on the market. There's another 168 that are coming on the market the next week. 323 fallouts, meaning they're back on the market for whatever reason. Amazingly, we've had 205.
I was like, who are those people?
Price increases.
Must have to be builders.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, builders raising their prices. Price decreases. Look at this number. Ooh.
That blew my mind again today.
I haven't seen that number that high in a long time.
Over 2,000. That
closer to 3,000.
I know, that blew my mind. Well, especially versus the pendings, right? There's 1,500, so almost double the amount of pendings reduce their price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
That's crazy.
And then there's 234 withdrawals. So I put the withdrawals and the expireds together. So about 700, a little over 650, 661.
And that means they couldn't get it sold or they decided not to sell.
Correct.
Okay.
And then this number here is shockingly higher than I anticipated. At 1,290 closings. I'm sure for this early in the month, that's pretty high.
Right. Well, I'm sure. Let's see. Was the end of May in these numbers? No.
First week of June.
Yeah, that's interesting. Again, that just proves my point, though. There's no good news. There's no bad news. This is just all news because 2,700 people might think that this is bad news, but there's 1,290 people who had great news in the last week. So it's just news and facts.
What do you think these people, the closed people that are selling their homes, what do you think they're doing different than the ones that either couldn't sell their home or they're having to reduce the price now?
It's a good question. I know personally over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've been spending a ton of time. You like to call it case study. I don't know what another word is for it, but really digging deep into the market to see what are people doing to go under contract once they make a price reduction. How long is it taking? So really, it's like going back to school almost in real estate, trying to figure out what this market is doing so that we can communicate that to our clients. And I think that we've had some successes in finding where adjustments and adapting where we need to adapt comes into play. But I think the key has been pricing right from the get-go, having the property in great shape. I think those are the two biggest things that I'm seeing.
So price and condition.
Price and condition. Yep.
Okay. How is that different than any other time?
Well, I think that's where we're having the trouble because like we talked about, and when it's been a seller's market for quite a few years now. And what that means is you don't have to do much. There's so much demand for your property that, you just get it out there and someone wants it and they'll deal with whatever they need to deal with. When you shift from the seller's market to a buyer's market, which we have, in case you guys didn't know, we've now made that switch into a buyer's market, the roles reverse. And you have to make your house very attractive and make the buyers want to pick yours instead of the 10 others in your neighborhood that are on the market.
So it's the classic beauty contest that we always used to talk about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, there's an argument that still says there's a record low number of inventory out there. And that's what's preventing home prices from falling. What's your opinion on that?
I think that headlines are always months behind. And I think that's the problem that we face, especially right now in real estate. And it's hard because it is cyclical, but different areas of the market are in different cycles, meaning first commercial starts to drop down a little bit, then residential follows, and then way later, builders. And so it's hard when you have 3 different types of markets in 3 different places to really put your finger on the pulse of what's going on, because traditionally builders are always about 12 to 18 months behind what we're doing in regular residential. So it's hard.
And what are builders doing right now?
Well, right now, okay, so good question. 12, 18 months ago, builders didn't want to work with realtors. They didn't want to pay realtors to bring in their buyers. They weren't offering very great incentives. their prices were astronomical. Now I'm getting emails in my inbox where they're offering huge commissions to agents. They're offering $30,000 off the price. They're offering insane interest rates. They're having price drops. So yeah, it's now starting to cycle through new build.
Yeah, I mean, with the way interest rates are, they're holding steady in the high sixes, low sevens. It makes affordability really tough.
Well, and that's the, I was texting back and forth with a client who had been looking for some land for a while. And that was about 3 or 4 months ago. So I checked in with him, just seeing, if he was able to find anything, if he was still looking. He's like, we just quit. We gave up. And I said, yeah, I get it. I'm praying to the real estate gods for some solution to affordability, because it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem.
Yeah. If interest rates aren't going to come down, the only solution is for prices to come down.
Right.
In the form of either price or some type of incentive and seller concessions. But now what we're seeing is, because concessions can be maxed out based on the lender and the loan programs you go with, most times it's 3% unconventional, depending on how much down payment you have, and then up to 6% on FHA. So if you're looking at a $500,000 home, 6% of that is $30,000. But sometimes even that incentive isn't enough. So that becomes problematic, and that's where we start to see prices fall.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think, and I don't want people to get the idea of like, oh, the market's crashing and prices are going to fall astronomically. It's not a matter of them falling at this crazy rate. It's about normal. And I know we keep bringing that name or that word up, but again, when you've been doing it as long as we have, like all the freak out, and we're about just sitting here like, you guys, this is normal. Like, you don't understand. We talked about this a few weeks about the astronomical appreciation that happened in a short period of time. You've still, like, I think that's the hard part when sellers are looking at current prices right now and not understanding it from a point of, okay, but how much appreciation have you had every year that you've owned this home? They feel like they're leaving money on the table, or that they're not getting every dollar out of it that they could, when really it's almost an inflated number to begin with.
Right.
And so those are the very hard conversations to say. I don't like telling a seller, honestly, that person probably shouldn't have got $675 down the street. It really should have been this. And that's what we're trying to dig our way out of.
Yeah, those that we got really, really spoiled with appreciation, and now we're back to reality, and this is normal. People are adjusting, and we'll all figure it out.
I think that's the key that we keep telling everybody, like, this is normal. Please don't freak out. Like, this is nothing to freak out about. The interest rates are nothing to freak out about. Price adjustment in the market is nothing to freak out about. Like, this is not stuff to be freaking out about. This is a normal real estate market. The only thing that is keeping it from thriving as much as everybody would hope it would right now is pricing. And that needs to be addressed.
Well, speaking of pricing.
Yep.
You see this article here. The U.S. housing market is nearly 500,000 more sellers than buyers. It's the most on record, according to this article, and that will likely cause home prices to fall. So I'm trying to put myself in a seller's shoes. who are the sellers that are winning in this market?
The sellers who are winning in this market are the ones who are being realistic about price, not wanting to push it to see what we can get. They're very much, this is what my house is worth, not what my house should be worth, based on this false, weird cycle of crazy appreciation. And those who are motivated, who really have the need to be somewhere, go somewhere, do something, they're the ones who are winning.
Yeah, I agree. I think the sellers who are winning are the ones that aren't driven by price. Like price is like down the list as far as, yeah, it'd be nice if we could get a good price for our home. We're happy with a fair price for our home, but our motivating factors are yard maintenance, are being closer to family, are being at a better school district, are eliminating stairs, increasing my quality of life. Those are the sellers that are winning. And price is probably fourth or fifth down the list.
But even that's relative, right? Like you say, oh, I'd love to get a good price, but I'll take a fair price. Well, what's a good price? Based on whose measurement? What's a fair price? Based on whose measurement? So it's all subjective. It just is, can I get out what I need to get out in order to do what I need to do? And those are the conversations that we're having. We're not about setting records or trying to prove the market wrong or anything like that. And that's never been how we've done our business. When you come to us and you have a need, we figure it out. We give you the best scenario and we just give you the facts. Again, here's the facts. And the sellers who are taking a minute to take that in, look at the facts, take all of things into consideration, they're winning. And I think a lot of the times in our experience, we go into living rooms and kitchens and it's really weird. Something happens, I think, with mostly home sellers, but sometimes home buyers. Something happens where they make that decision to sell. And then all of a sudden they're like, I want to break records and I want to do this. And I'm like, wait, what's the real goal here? Like nobody in your neighborhood is going to remember that you were the one that sold for that. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. So they make it so much about everything around them instead of their situation. And so it's been a challenge to kind of, oh wait, let's come back here. Let's remember, like, let's come back here. Let's come back here. I think because there is so much buzz and so much talk about real estate right now that everybody wants to like prove somebody wrong or prove the market wrong or break a record or do this or do that. And it's like, no, we just need to get it sold so you can get to here. That's hard right now.
Yeah, those are tough conversations.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
As I say, in this article, because people see this and they freak out, prices are going to fall. I think in this article, they said that they anticipate them dropping 1% by the end of the year. I think you and I talked about that. I think that's a little low. I think that we will probably see prices drop 3 to 5% by the end of the year. I could be wrong, but and as that happens, then we'll see relief in interest rates, and it's all this beautiful thing, right? That starts to work together. It's just there's some discomfort in any market shift, and the market shifted. And I think that home sellers still don't want to accept that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's we are slow to transition from that.
Right.
So it's always difficult.
Yeah. And I think that's why you're seeing those price decreases. It's the sellers who think that they were the ones, but okay, but that's them. That's them down the street. This is me, and my house has this, this, and this, and this is why I'm different, and this is why I think I can get more, or this is why I need more. So those are probably the conversations of 2,900 people, or whatever that number was, 2,700, 2,900, I can't remember. Whatever number that was, that's probably the plan that was in place with those 2,700 people. I want to test the market. I want to start high. I want to try it. My house is better than all those houses, so I'm going to get more for mine. And then you end up here.
So what do you, we kind of had a win last week with one of our clients where they acknowledged that they had a ton of equity in their home. And a lot of folks are equity rich.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Especially with the, most of the loans out there are definitely under 5%. A few are under 3%. I mean, so people are building equity by the chunks, because as of right now, you probably got those interest rates in 2000, 2001, maybe a few in 2022. Yeah. So 20 and 21, if you refinanced and you lowered your interest rate, by now, your principal reduction on your monthly payments is huge. Like you're making big hits to that.
Yeah.
So you're building a bunch of equity, but then it's like, what's my equity doing for me? What can I do right now with all this equity, because it's just sitting there doing nothing? What would you say to those folks? What can they do with equity right now?
Well, I've always told my buyers and my home sellers that the one thing that I love so much about real estate is that it's a performing asset. And I just had this conversation with our suite clients. When did I go out there? Thursday or Friday. And I was going through a net sheet with them, and they were like, gosh, I wish we didn't have a mortgage on this. Like, it should be paid off. And I wish that we didn't have any loan balance on this. And I asked them why. And they said, well, then we would be getting all this equity right now. And I said, okay, well, let me ask you this. Why do you have a mortgage on this? And then they explained why. They did some stuff to the house. They helped out their kids. I said, and what's so wrong about that?
Mm-hmm.
And so my point to them was, that's what it's there for. And I'm having more and more conversations with people like, why do you want to pay it off and then just let it sit there and leave it to your kids? So the conversation I had with my sellers was, okay, but you helped your children while you were here, while you could. You made your home a place that you enjoyed more, which increased your quality of life. You are able to have this thing that just is sitting there that you can draw from if you want to or need to. And that's invaluable. So for me, I know we've talked about this in our own house. Like, is it really that important to have the kids leave the kids a free and clear house when we're gone? Or would they prefer to help us make it what it is for our family, because it's pretty custom for our family and the things that we've done, and we get to go on trips and we get to do these things and we get to help them if they need it with their growing families and all of those things. So for me, I just feel like that's a better use of equity. And with those clients, they took it even a step further to invest in something that's going to create cash flow for them every month. So not only are you earning appreciation, you're getting cash flow from your home equity, which right. I thought that was genius.
I got to plug in my computer.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now it's just me. Okay, well, while we wait for Ruben to get back on, again, I can't stress enough. I think that that's part of the challenge is also knowing that if you do decide to use some of your equity, when you do go to sell, that bottom line isn't going to be as enormous as you probably thought it was, because you've already tapped into that equity, and that's not a bad thing. So yeah, pricing is key right now. Honest conversations about your motivation and where you need to be in particular to your neighborhood and your market is imperative. There is no blanket, this is what the market's doing nationwide, or this is what the market doing in Colorado, or this is what the market's doing in a certain city even. It's street by street, block by block. And so you just need to, home sellers, you just need to be open to the facts. Interpret them how you want, but not take it personally and not get upset, and understand that this is just news. What can we do with this news? What can we do with these facts? How can we achieve what we want to achieve given the facts that we have? Because I think realtors and home sellers are spending too much time in trying to figure out how can we create a scenario the way we want it to be, instead of how can we fit into the scenario that we need it to be. Because you can't create one. You have to figure out how to fit into it. You have to figure out how to adapt. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. My battery dropped like a freaking rock. Like it went from 20% to like 0 in like.
Are you on the computer that you insist on continuing to use that's giving you nothing but problems since you bought it?
This is my baby.
Is that the computer you're on?
This is my little friend.
All right, well,
yes.
So I was just saying, you know, you need to just be aware of what the facts are and what that means for you and how you can fit into that set of facts, not trying to create your own set of facts.
Right. And I know we're going to be better about doing equity reports for our clients, friends, family, whoever wants it. And let's see how much equity you have working for you, or that you can put to work for you. And let's run some scenarios on how we can grow that and use that equity to work for you, so that you can build something for the kiddos, grandkids down the road. Let's look at those options and figure out, you know, can this equity be placed in a growing asset that can feed you down the road. And I know that's what, I don't know if you had a chance to talk about what our clients did, but
yeah,
that's what they did. So,
and I think that's the hard part, because all of this news and all of this buzz is almost paralyzing people. And it's interesting to have conversations with people, because we've been extremely busy for the last 3 months. Actually, I don't know if it has anything to do if one's connected to the other, but ever since we started doing all of these lives, we've gotten very busy, just because I think we spark conversation about things. And the types of transactions that we're working on right now are all over the place. Like we don't have one deal that's the same scenario. They're all different strategies, all different goals, which is interesting to me, because usually it's like, oh, we just got really busy because it's seasonal or whatever. No, we have people, you're closing refinances.
Yeah.
We have people buying investment properties. We have people combining families. We have people just cashing out, being like, I'm out of here. I'm going to another state. We have other people who are strategically trying to get every penny out of this so that they can go here. We have all kinds of different scenarios. So my point to that is not, oh, if you're this person, you need to be in the market. No. The market can be made to whatever you need it to be. You just got to be clear on the end goal. And once you start the process, that gets very hard. And it seems easy. But
right.
I'm telling you something, we sit down at that kitchen table and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. How did we get here? And you have to come back. But wait, what are we trying to do? Where are you trying to get? What's the end goal? Are we trying to make this amount of money? Or are we trying to get here? Like, what are we doing? So there's a lot of having to bring it back to, because it gets emotional and it gets exciting and it gets overwhelming and it gets stressful and all of these things. And so it's kind of like people are ping ponging all over the place. And it's our job to sit there and say, you said this is why you're moving. I'm telling you, this is how we get there. Everything else around us doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about it. We're getting you here by doing this. So those are the conversations that need to happen right now.
Right on. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up there. And so I think we're going to be doing this, maybe more once a week versus daily than we were before.
Yeah, I mean, you and I will always, we're always on social media, and when we get a little light bulb or something, we usually come on. But as far as like in-depth market stuff, that is going to be on Mondays. So if you guys have specific questions or something that you want us to cover, just know that you can reach out to us and we can cover it every Monday.
Yeah, and if you guys want that equity report for your specific property or investment properties or whatever, or a property that you're considering, let us take a look at it for you, and you'll get our 2 cents, and let's talk through it together. So more heads are better than one.
Yep, we are always here. And for those of you who follow us in our little community, we haven't forgotten about our events. We do have an event coming up in July. It's going to be our barbecue. So be on the lookout for the details on our summer barbecue. We're missing our people. It's been only a month, but we usually see all of you about once a month. So we're excited to see all of you next month and share some really good barbecue and just catch up and enjoy the summer. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're not on our list to get notices of our events, just message us here and we'll make sure that we get you on that list.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great week, everyone.
Later.